interview ever that I know of.
Well, welcome everyone. This is Sound Moves, the podcast about real estate in the Puget Sound region or sound advice for your life. Today's episode, I'm actually bringing in a friend of mine, Richard Oliver, who is a massage therapist. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring him on is in good advice for our life. Keeping track and pursuing good health is a key component of that. And what Richard Oliver does is a very big part of maintaining your health. So, Richard, thank you for joining me today, and I'm excited to introduce you to my listening audience. Why don't you give us a brief introduction into who you are?
All right. Well, thanks for having me. Well, Richard Oliver is my name, and I've been a licensed massage therapist for the last 22 and a half years. Prior to that, I spent 28 and a half years as a fast food manager,
Wow.
spending my time between McDonald's and Burger King.
Nice.
I'm married to Monday, and we have 5 children. She brought 1, and I brought in 4.
Okay.
And we have 4 grandchildren, ages 4, 7, 13, and 22.
Wow.
And presently a Monroe resident for the last 23 years.
Nice. Nice. Why don't you tell us a bit about your business?
All righty. Yin and Yang Massage is located inside Healthy Family Chiropractic. Dr. Rod and I have been referral partners for the last 9 years, and
Okay.
I've been on site for the last year and a half.
Nice.
He expanded his practice. He went from a smaller space into a much larger space, and since he now had room, I asked if he'd like to have somebody on site. He said yes, and away we go.
Yeah, that's a great partnership too.
Yes, it really is. My massage practice is in the process of expansion. Right now I have 1 employee, and I'm looking to expand like up to approximately 6.
Good. So if you're listening to this and you're in the massage field, maybe you need to get in touch with Richard.
Yes, please. That would be exceptional. We generally focus more on the therapeutic and or medical style massage rather than just straight up relaxation.
Okay.
Although our clients do receive the relaxation benefit as well, but they may have to put in a little work along the way to get there. A large majority of my clients share with me that after one of our treatments, they're now ready for a nap. So that seems to be rather relaxing to me. Yeah,
should be a good indicator right there. Yeah,
exactly.
So what made you get into this field of massage therapy?
Well, it really comes down to, I think it was pretty much my destiny.
Okay.
I've actually been doing massage since I was about 4.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, exactly. So that was started off with mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles. And anytime we'd have a family gathering, there'd be this little fella that would be wandering from relative to relative, rubbing backs and necks and shoulders. And this would go on for hours and hours. And now I do that on a daily basis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, what are some of the biggest benefits in what you offer?
Probably the largest benefit is aiding people to maintain and enhance their health and well-being through massage. Pretty much you utilize this unit called body on pretty much a daily basis. And you wouldn't skip over your maintenance for your vehicle, and you're at least as valuable as your vehicle to you. So it seems to me that's in your best interest to keep that unit of yours tuned up. And that's kind of what I do, help tune it up and send it on its way.
A lot of sense. Yes. Oh. Very cool. What's the most important lesson you learned over your career?
Being persistent and consistent in receiving your treatment. I personally utilize each treatment as a teaching opportunity as well. And mostly because the majority of my clients do not have the same type of background and education that I got. And they also probably don't have 22 and a half years in the actual massage industry. So what I'm doing may seem foreign or odd. And I know personally, I do so much better if I understand why. So I like to say, this is what we're going to do, and this is why we're going to do it.
Okay.
And people
That
are
usually
much,
helps me out too.
well, heck yeah.
Knowing the
Yeah,
why behind something. Like, don't just tell me to do something. I want to know, why is this going to help me? Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of because I'm the boss of you and I say so. Doesn't really go over. Yeah. So it helps them keep a better open mind if they have at least a basic understanding of what and why we're attempting and how we're going to accomplish it.
Okay.
So I don't feel like I'm in the classroom and that we have to get down to the nitty and the gritty. It's basic. It gives them a basic understanding, and if they want more, I will joyfully hand out more. But as long as they got a basic understanding, that's usually all that they're interested in and or need.
Nice. Okay. Well, who has been an important professional mentor to you?
Actually, that comes to the guy that I'm renting space from. That's Dr.
Okay.
Rod Collinger.
Dr. Rod.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and what has been the I don't know the biggest thing for me is a great example of how to be effective and efficient with a very minimal amount of staff along with proper delegation. And
Okay.
I've adopted some of his stuff along the way, and we visit on a regular basis. Well, since I'm in the
Okay.
office all day long.
Yeah.
Um, he's out there making the chiropractic stuff happen. So we don't get a lot of time during work hours because he's very focused. When he's working, he's working. But he and I exchange services. So when we're doing that, we have a chance to kind of bounce stuff off each other, and I do drill him with questions, and then I get a chance to see it live and in person every day as to how well it's working for him.
Okay. And he's been doing the chiropractic thing for a lot of years out here in Monroe too.
He's crowding 40 years.
Yeah. That's a long time.
Yeah, that's even longer than me.
So, what is a common myth about the field of massage therapy, I guess, that you've experienced that people bring up to you?
That well, mostly it's somebody will come in and says, I was telling my person I was coming in to get a massage today. They go, oh, you're so lucky, all relaxing. And they says, no, 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 you don't
No.
know. Yeah, you don't know, Richard. And
Yeah.
the myth with that is that thinking it's all the spa massage, cucumber slices on your eyeballs and just all soft and fluffy and yeah, on and on and on. I really do have as many creature comforts as possible, and that's more as a distraction to support them so that I can get in there and get after it. And that's part of the reason that my education comes place, because that's what people often have in mind when they start with me, and I explain what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, and with that bit of background, they're much more accepting of needing to breathe through the work rather than just having the cucumber slices on their eyeballs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been to see you too. It is it is not as simple or
Nope.
unpainful experience, but it is good pain. So
Exactly. Yes.
what can you share maybe a good client success story?
Well, yeah. I've got two.
Okay,
And I
excellent.
have
Well, we
one
can
that
hear
is
them both. That's fine.
okay. That's exciting. One is actually a review that a client wrote for me. Well, mostly unsolicited, but this is what they said. They said, just had a massage from Richard on Monday, and I feel great. He spent the time needed to understand what I needed, with a good sense of humor, too, so he made it enjoyable. Then, before we got started, he gave me a guideline between 1 and 10 on what I should tell him to ease up. That made it very easy for me to know how much discomfort is good, working the kinks out, and what is too much. I left feeling relaxed, loose, and happy. I waited to do this review because I wanted to see how I felt in a day or two. Would I feel sore? Did it help? Am I pleased? And I am pleased to report that I felt like I had been worked. But after I took my morning walk and stretched it out, I felt great. I want to feel like I'm making progress. I don't want to go backwards. I think he hit it just right. I can't wait till my next appointment.
That is a fantastic review.
Well, that's what I thought. It can't get better than that. If I wrote it myself, I couldn't have done better.
Exactly. Very cool.
And then,
so do you have another one too?
I do.
Okay,
And
let's hear that.
it's from a very recent client. This is just first part of last week, actually.
Okay.
And she had come in and she had been to multiple massage therapists and consistently was asking them to work on her legs.
Okay.
Well, she says most of these massage therapists, what their focus is working on the back, work on the back. And that's what they did. They worked on her back. They kind of like touched her legs and then moved on. And she says, I really hope you will actually work on them. I says, oh yeah. Oh yeah. For me personally, I use my legs when I'm massaging. That's where all the power comes from. So I'm in my legs, and so I appreciate receiving massage work on my legs.
Mm-hmm.
So I also feel that it's real necessary for these, people that are on my table to receive the same thing. So I worked them over, and she was very pleased because she was having a lot of hip discomfort and things bordering on, in fact, even potentially worse, sciatica, which is a pain that runs down your hips right on down. I can go all the way down to your foot, and very uncomfortable. And we had alleviated the majority of all of that in just one session. So she was very pleased. Yeah, very pleased.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Exactly.
Now, what about like a morning routine that you do to get you started before your day?
For me, I'm in the gym 4 to 6 days a week.
Wow.
And at my training goes towards functional fitness. Also, I participate in triathlon, so that's very functional.
Wow.
And,
how long have you been doing that?
I've done 12.
Wow. Okay.
My triathlons are actually my final test. Have I done enough training in the gym through the year that I could go out and do a triathlon? So I did. I said, well, let's go see if I can. And I don't train specifically for triathlon with the exception of one season. And that actually ended up being my best times for everything. And that was because I really focused on it. But
it's just a test to see how you've done throughout the year. So
exactly. Yep.
Nice.
I should have enough cool. Thank you. I should have enough strength and endurance to be able to get through all 3 events and get to the end and still be functional.
Okay. And, sorry for that little detour, but that was cool.
No, that's very good. Thank you. The other part of it is that the way I kind of explain it is I work hard in the gym so that when I'm in the treatment room, I'm not running out of energy at the end of the day or whining along in my head because their back is so tight, it's hard to work on them. And instead I can focus on them and what they're asking me to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. What about a productivity hack as a business owner that you'd have to share with someone else?
For the most part, what the biggest thing for me is, although I am a solo entrepreneur, so to speak, I don't do it alone. In fact, through the years, I have continuously gone about creating the team. And what I mean by that is that I did not become a massage therapist so that I could learn more about QuickBooks and how to better utilize that and analyze my P&L. And, I've got a good understanding of it, but if I was the one I had to rely on to get it done, I'm much more likely to put it off, not do it as thoroughly and joyfully as my present bookkeeper will, and
Okay.
does do. She loves
Yeah.
crunching numbers. She just gets giddy about, running the numbers, and oh, look, I found a balanced again. Yeah, she's just tickled. So it's silly for me to, inconvenience myself by having to do that. Instead, I can ask her questions. She can tell me what I could figure out, but it would take me so much longer. So
Yeah.
putting the team together is the biggest
That's a
hack.
good thing too, because I know for me, I don't really have a lot of motivation to do the things I'm not really good at, or the things I don't
Exactly.
really want to do. So if I put those off, though, that poses a problem later on too, right? So
Here, here.
it's good to have somebody that wants to do that aspect of your business to do it. So cool.
I wholeheartedly
So what
support
about
that.
some influential people in your life and how they impacted you?
Well, when I came across that question, excuse me, I did some pondering on that, and what I came down to is my dad.
Okay.
And having and utilizing a positive mental attitude, especially when things were not going well.
Hmm.
One of my dad's things was that he wanted to be a salesman, and I mean
Okay.
from the time immemorial. Um, Present day, the fuller brush man is not something that you see out and about. Um,
Okay.
in, in the early '60s, Dad was the fuller brush man. So he'd
Wow.
have
Okay.
his satchel of samples, and he'd be going door to door and selling brushes to people.
Huh.
And through the years, he introduced me to positive mental attitude books, and
Nice.
exactly. Um, and so I've run through quite a wide variety of those. And some of the classics. I mean, like Zig Ziglar,
Uh-huh.
um,
He's
and
got
other
some
people.
fantastic stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it they're always, for me, they're quite uplifting and give me a chance to do some more thinking about, how could I do this instead of I can't do this.
Okay.
Um, Posing the question to yourself, how can I get this done, instead of coming up with all the reasons why I can't.
Right.
Um, it's so much more pleasant to deal with people that aren't just a big, wet, rainy cloud. Kind of
Uh-huh.
like our weather. Yeah. It's hard to be bright and cheerful when you've got, the type of weather we've got. And so if you can insert a little sunshine into somebody's day, I really think that's
Yep.
that's so much more worthwhile. So that I think it has been at my root core, to why I have gotten to where I am.
Excellent. Well, that kind of segues into the next couple questions. What are three resources you'd recommend to the audience for improving their life, and then maybe some books, movies, classes, or podcasts that have been impactful to you? So you already shared about Zig Ziglar, so maybe there's a couple other things in that list.
There are actually. Um, I'm in this networking group, and Paul's part of it. BN, BNI, Business Network
Yeah,
International, founded in 1985 by Ivan Meisner,
yeah.
and he's referred to as the father of modern networking. Well, he's got a lot to say.
He does
And
have a lot to say.
he really
Good
does.
stuff too.
Exactly.
So,
We've got a platform that we get an opportunity to listen to. Um, Business Network International is it's thousands of podcasts,
uh-huh.
literally. And
Yep.
Ivan has a little over 800 of his own.
On his own, right?
So, and I've actually listened to all 800 of them so far.
Wow.
And Ivan is also a bit of a prolific writer. I think he's got somewhere up and over 20 different titles.
Uh-huh.
Um, One of the ones that talks about the birth of BNI is called Giver's Gain, which is
Okay.
the primary guiding principle of BNI.
Yeah.
Another one is called Who's in Your Room? And this one talks about your mind as being a room where people can only come in, they can't get back out. So
Ah.
if in fact you could control who is in your room. Who would you let in? Because once they're in,
Okay.
they're in for life.
Interesting.
So, yes, it's actually a really good read. Gives you lots of things to think about. So those are two of his books that I would definitely suggest. Along with, if you're an entrepreneur, take a look into BNI. It really can help support your business and what you want to accomplish.
That's a good point. And if you guys are interested at all in that, and you're in the greater Seattle area, both Richard and I are in the same chapter, but we could bring you in as a guest or a visitor. And because our chapters are business specific, or industry specific, if your industry is already represented in our chapter, we can get you connected to another chapter that maybe has an opening for that. So,
yes, we can. Another book I just I'm in process of is called Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Yep.
And it talks about how to, about as painlessly as possible, insert a positive habit into your life. And it's really just as, how can I least disrupt myself and still insert this into my life? And it starts giving you things to think about and how to do that, because often we acquire habits by accident that come and beat us down and drag us under the bus, which is less good.
Right. Yeah, that's a fantastic resource too.
Mm-hmm. And my other one that I've read a couple times, it's called The E-Myth. That's by Michael Gerber.
Yep. I just listened to the audiobook of that recently.
Oh,
so
very good.
Nice.
I went old school and I read the actual one with paper. And it just talks about the three aspects from his point of view that every single entrepreneur has wandering around inside their head. And that's the technician, the manager, and the entrepreneur. And they each kind of function separately. And it's good to recognize which one of them you're kind of supporting and or representing at any given moment. And it's often the technician that just gets tired of working in the situation he is, and so the entrepreneur rears their little head and gets them started, but then the entrepreneur wanders off and it's back to the technician again. Anyways, it's a good read. And it is a good book. It's got lots of little fun stories along the way to illustrate.
Nice. Cool. Well, what some of you guys may not know, in my BNI chapter, when Richard does his commercial, he often includes a song with it, which is absolutely fantastic too. So he's very entertaining. Well, Richard, before we leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience today? Maybe about massage and the importance of getting into a regular habit of that in their life?
Do it. And if you just do it. Yeah, just kind of like Nike. But the two things that are usually limiting factors for people are time and money.
Right.
So if in fact you've chosen to do a massage and, oh, I really can't afford it, sit down, and there's this thing most people have, it's called budget. Take a look at it. And being persistent and consistent will pay off, period. If the best you can do is every 4 to 6 weeks, fine, do that. You will receive benefits. You will get them. It will take longer. And part of the reason for that is because your body wants you to be quote unquote normal. Now, after a massage, you're no longer normal. Because things are now relaxed. And so that's not normal, because most people are just a bundle of nerves and all wadded up and tense. But what needs to happen is to have more treatments closer together at the very beginning to allow your body to get used to the idea that you want to create a new normal. So be persistent, be consistent, find what you can afford, either in time or money or both. Do that.
Okay, excellent. Now, how do people get in touch with you if they want to schedule a massage?
We have this new thing. It's called the telephone, and we
Okay.
have a phone number. Uh, I know. 360-805-6242. That's
Okay.
that's a direct line to our office. Then, of course, you can also go online, Yin and Yang Massage 9 at
Okay.
outlook.com.
Okay.
And that'll get you to the website. And you can, if you're of a mind, you can even schedule yourself from there.
Nice. Okay. And then your physical address is on Chain Lake Road, 14751. Is that right? Or what's the address there?
14815.
14815. Okay. I think 14751 is
that's the other one.
That's another location for someone else.
14815 Chain Lake Road, Suite A. I share once again. I share space with Dr. Rod at Healthy Family Chiropractic.
Yeah, and you're the southernmost suite in that building. So,
sure. Yes, we are.
Right across the parking lot from the storage place. So.
Yes, exactly. If you find the mini storage, you found us. We're right next.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Richard, for joining me today, and looking forward to getting this out to our audience. And have a wonderful holiday season.
Sir. I shall. Thank you very much for the opportunity to come on. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Take care.